What's good, beautiful people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Kenya right now, and today I'm going to tell you all the things that I hate about living in Medellin. So, in no particular order, I'm just going to run down some of the things that I really don't like about living here and that really annoy me about living here. Now, keep in mind, I've only been here for 2 months so far, okay? So, and I really like it here, all right? But it's not all roses. There are a few particulars that can get under the skin. All right, so let's start with traffic. Traffic is a big one, and this is one of those places where it's like rush hour 24/7. I used to think when I first got here that, oh, it's not that bad. People always complain about the traffic, but it's really not that bad. You can get here, you can get there. But then, sometimes you run into traffic at the most inconvenient times where you're just trying to get somewhere in a hurry and it's taking forever just because everybody's on the road. They also drive a little crazy here. They have, I won't say 50%, but there's a lot of people who drive those scooters or motorbikes or whatever. So you have that with the main traffic, and they can be a little risque and dangerous because, like scooters in most countries, especially outside of the US, they wiggle their way through any space that they can fit. And in Colombia, or in Medellin, they all of the cars, all of the vehicles on the road come really close to each other. Um, when they're parking, when they're turning, when they're moving, whatever. If they're trying to get over, like they'll inch their way in where it's like there's no way possible. Like if you keep going, you're gonna hit somebody. But they'll try it. They'll try it each and every time. They have a lot of one-way streets here. So sometimes you really gotta go a long way, like out of your way just to get to a basic, like just to get right across the street. They gotta go like around 2 blocks just to go right across the street instead of making a right or left turn. I guess in addition to traffic and transportation is how crowded the subways can get at times. So let me tell you the difference between crowded here in Medellin and crowded in Korea. Korea is a super safe country, let me put it that way. So I never really had to worry about getting groped. Um, on on the subway or on the buses, and I definitely never had to worry about being like robbed or um, pickpocketed or anything like that. So that to that degree, it wasn't a big deal. It was just the annoyance of being so close or not having a seat and having to stand for a long time, that sort of thing, which isn't a big deal. If you're a subway rider, you get used to that. Like standing is not a big deal at all to you. Yes, sometimes you like to take a seat, but for the most part, it's no big deal. Did it look like I was talking to you all naked? I'm not naked. Oh my God. Wait, let me move back here. Let's do this so you can see. I'm not naked, people. I'm on a bed, but I'm not naked. So being here in Medellin, this is the city where Pablo Escobar and his cartel ran. So, but that was many years ago. The city has changed so much since then, and it's much more safer now, but it's still a big city. So you still have to be careful and mindful and aware of your surroundings. And it makes it that much more uncomfortable. In terms of being groped and things like that, I've never heard of that happening here on the subways when it gets crowded, but it could happen. And in terms of being pickpocketed and things like that, I also never heard of that on the subway, but I know it happens in certain areas where there are a lot of people or a lot of tourists in certain areas. But anyway, so that's the whole thing with traffic and transportation and the whole crowdedness and how there's so many people all the time. Um, but on the streets, you don't really feel that. Like when you're walking and being out and about, you don't really feel like that thick crowdedness of people. So that's good. Number two, which is related to the traffic, is the pollution. I have had this ridiculous cough for almost a month now, and I don't know where it came from. I'm not sick. I might sound sick because I'm a little congested, but I'm not sick. I don't feel ill, but this cough has been like trying to take my life for the last like 4 weeks, and it doesn't go away. Last week I finally saw a doctor, and it's still here. It's still here. I thought it was going away. It's still here. Been taking medicine. Everything is still here. I didn't think it was that bad. Like they told me how bad the pollution was here, but I didn't really believe it until this happened to me. And then I reached out to other expats like, hey, have you all experienced anything like this? And they were like, oh yeah, I know somebody, or I had this. And it's basically like the same symptoms. It lasts for several weeks, came out of nowhere. Sometimes you get shortness of breath, that sort of thing. So that really sucks. Okay, so let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is the dogs. I am not a dog person, and there are dogs everywhere around here. I swear it seems like everywhere outside of America, they're just stray dogs is a thing. It's like they're part of the population or something, especially in Asia. But it's like here as well. So you'll see dogs everywhere. Stray dogs, street dogs, whatever you want to call them, as well as people and their beloved dogs. And dogs are actually welcome damn near anywhere in here. Like dogs are welcomed in restaurants, cafes, I don't know, cell phone stores. They're almost like people here, which is different. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten over my fear of dogs, but I'm still just not a dog friendly person. Like if a dog comes up to me, I'm not gonna reach out and want to touch it and pet it. That's not the type of person I am. I don't know where that animal has been. Like, are you kidding me? But they're everywhere, all the time, with no leashes. It is what it is. So let's move on to number 4. Oh my gosh, I just thought of another one. Okay, okay, let's back it up. Let's put traffic and pollution together since they correlate. So that's number 1. Okay, so now we're on number 3. So number 3 is locking the doors. Locking the doors here is super annoying because you need a key to get in, obviously, but you also need a key to get out. And they don't have a lot of automatic locks. Maybe in some of the newer places they do, I don't know, but in the like 3 or 4 different apartments that I've stayed in since I've been here, no. You need a key, and then there's several keys. So there's the main door key, and then when you go up to your place, of course, it's a lock to open the door, but then there's usually like at least 2 or 3 locks. Sometimes they don't always use as many locks that they have that are on the door, but you're carrying all those keys with you, which again, I hate to keep comparing this to Korea, but that was my home for 3 years. So in Korea, no boo, I had electronic keypad. Thank you very much. I did not have to worry about no friggin' keys ever. And I'm good for losing keys. I used to lose my car keys or lock my car keys in my car when I was home all the time. So it's super annoying. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but the big deal is when you're leaving, I guess it's a safeguard because when you're leaving, you have to have your keys in order to get out. But the other thing is when people come to visit you, you have to see them out as well. So I don't really get that. And with the apartment that I live in now, to open the door to get out of my door, I just like pull a lever or whatever to get out. But downstairs, there are 2 locks. And I live in an apartment. So there are some people who like to lock both locks. And they have those double locks here where you turn it once and then you could turn it again to make sure it's extra locked. So they have 2 of those on the lock downstairs, on the door downstairs. And it's just annoying. I know I sound like I'm talking about a whole bunch of first world problems, people, but I mean, what can I say? Medellin, I like it here, so it's not a whole lot to hate about it for being here for 2 months. Number 4 is the noise. Okay. So it feels like no matter where you go, no matter where you live, first of all, you're always going to hear street noise. That's number 1. You're always going to hear street noise. You're always going to hear the traffic. You're always, the first Airbnb place that I stayed in, I could hear like kids playing and laughing and parents talking to their children. It was just, it's like the communal noise that you hear here. Outside of the street noise. The street noise kind of becomes that white noise, that background noise that you can ignore. But when you're hearing people's conversations, when you're hearing people's TV shows, when you're hearing people make boom boom in the next room, I had to endure that. Like my first Airbnb host, he was a musician. He's a young guy, so he's out there getting it in, okay? Let's make no mistake. I was there for 1 week over a matter of 2 weekends, and he had at least, because he always brought women home on the weekends, at least like 3 or 4 different women. At least 3. Yeah, and my room was right next to his. So I'm talking about hearing skin smacking, him breathing hard, her her enjoying herself. Like, listen, do you, but I don't want to hear that. I don't want to be a witness to what you do in the privacy of your bedroom. I don't want to know about it. So yeah, it's just like everything, man. Like even me making this video right now, I'm sure that I am being heard on I don't know how many different levels. When I teach in the morning, the neighbors downstairs told my housemate that they can hear me. Like I try to have my inside voice, but you also have to be enthusiastic when you're working with these kids. So it's like it's only so much of that I can control. And I know that people who are in the common space of the apartment can hear me, but the fact that people can hear me downstairs, that just made me think, well, dang, what else? What other conversations can they hear? But that's super annoying. Like when you're up and you're moving around, it's not a big deal. But when you're trying to go to sleep or trying to just get some rest or have peace, and you can hear other people's lives happening, it's just too much. And then in the apartments that they have here, they have these weird like column things or tunnels where like there are 2 or 3 or 4 different apartments that are surrounded, and there's just like this empty space, which to me creates a noise tunnel. Then you're like echoing all of the noises that it's just too much. It's too much communal noise for me. I'm not into it. I don't like it. Yeah. I don't even know where there are bars on my block, but somehow I can hear like 3 or 4 different bars playing music and things happening every day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's just too much. Anyway, moving right along. Okay, so the 5th thing that I wanted to add on that I had completely forgotten about is that apparently everywhere in South and Central America, because I experienced this for the first time when I was in Costa Rica in 2008, they don't flush their toilet paper. Yeah, just let that sink in. They don't flush their toilet paper. And when I first got here, I had no idea. My host did not tell me. And there was another guest that was staying there. And I remember, because me and the guest shared the same bathroom, and then the host had his own bathroom. And I remember at one time throwing away some paper and seeing just a streak of brown on a white piece of toilet paper. And I was like, oh my God, that's so disgusting. Like, at least if you're going to put that in the trash, can you, like, fold it so we can't see the business? But yeah, so even when I went to Chile, they don't put the toilet paper in the toilet bowl. I don't know why. When I went to Costa Rica, they said it was because of their ecosystem, like they have a delicate ecosystem or something like that. I don't know what the reason is. So my cousin recently came here. She visited with her university. She's at TSU, and TSU actually has this cool language cultural exchange program with AFIT in Medellin, which is one of the best universities here in Medellin, or maybe Medellin or Colombia, not sure. Anyway, she was here for a week, and she was like, I couldn't get used to it. I kept flushing the toilet, and when you keep flushing the toilet paper in the toilet, it clogs it up. That never happened to me, thank goodness. But yeah, that's just kind of annoying. And I mean, especially for women, we, once a month, it goes down, and it can be a little messy. Things can get a little stinky, a little gross. Where do we put them, right? We put them in these bins. You put them in the garbage bins, and you're sharing everybody's business, and then you just change it out when it gets full. That's how it works. So anyway, those are the things that I hate about living in Medellin, Colombia. It's a pretty weak list, I'll admit. I guess I can give some examples of what other people have said who have lived here longer. So there's one guy from Spain that I met. He's been here 2 years, and he said that what he doesn't like about living here, even though he likes it here, is that you can never really get close to a Colombian. Like, you think you're getting close to them, or you think like you're good friends, but they always kind of like, it's only to a degree. Like, you can't really become intimate where you're telling each other about, your deep dark secrets or personal life. They kind of keep it on a surface level, because they're very family oriented. So maybe that's why. I don't know why. He couldn't explain why, but I found that really interesting. And then another thing, for a lot of expats who intend to stay here long term, I don't, so it's not an issue for me. But those who tend to stay here long term, they complain about housing and how hard it is to get housing, which it really is. I don't understand why they make it so hard. And it's not just for expats, it's for Colombians as well. You have to have someone to sign off for you, similar to when you are buying a car, for example. When you have a co-signer, like someone ensuring that you will pay the payments, and if you don't, they will take responsibility for you if you can't continue the payments. It's something similar like that, but there's also a lot of other bureaucracy that you have to go through in order just to get an apartment. Yeah, but honestly, it's not worth it if you're not going to stay here long term, because it's just, you have to give deposit money and all this other stuff that for me is just of no interest. Episode 4 of 30 Days of Blogging in April. Stay tuned, and I will see you when I see you. Deuces.